Welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we're going to do something really fun, and I just got inspired to do this video because my sister shared with me a little treasure from her daughter, her adopted daughter. Spent some time in Africa. She went back just to check out her family roots, and she married a man from Ghana and came back with this little treasure. It's used. This is African black soap. Oh my goodness. It's not beautiful looking, although I think it's absolutely beautiful. You can tell it's well loved. I use this every morning and every night since she gave it to me on my face, just straight like this. And I adore this soap so much. I told her I'm obsessed. So I had to get some. I had to learn about it and study it, and I'm just head over heels in love. This is just using it straight up. I'll talk about the ingredients and all that, but this is just straight up African black soap. It's a little pliable. It's not super hard because it's made with potash, a potassium hydroxide, which makes a softer soap. But anyway, it is beyond fabulous. I am so crazy about this soap, and I did not realize all of the skin benefits that are touted to go along with this soap. So today, what I'm going to do is not make the African black soap because it is pretty cool how they make it, but I bought some blocks off of Amazon from Africa, and you can just chop this up into bars and use it straight as it is, but I'm going to dice this up into little crumbles and add it to a cold process soap to kind of stretch it out. It's not inexpensive. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap, and I want to stretch this out. And so I'm going to be making a coconut Shea cold process base and add a good percentage of crumbles in there as an additive in the soap to kind of stretch this out and make it last longer. And hopefully I'll put enough in there where you'll reap some of the benefits of this glorious soap. Oh, I'm crazy about it. Okay, let me read to you off the internet. You've never heard of this. It's traditionally made with water, palm, cocoa powder, plantain skin ashes, and sometimes includes shea butter. It is, here we go. African black soap can be used on the face, body, and hands and hair. It has antibacterial and exfoliant properties. It can help improve skin texture and tone. It may also help reduce inflammation and treat signs of aging. Oh my. And so it's supposed to be really good if you have skin irritations, eczema, rashes. It's very soothing with the anti-inflammatory properties. Now, I am not making these claims. It is soap, it lathers, and it cleanses your skin. But these, if you Google African black soap, read up on it on your own. Just a lot of fabulousness going on. So these blocks that I got, I cut the ingredient label off here. So these ones contain cocoa pods, palm kernel oil, coconut oil, refined shea butter, plantain skin ash, purified water, and natural vitamin E. So the cocoa pods and the plantain skin, like those big bananas, plantains, they burn those down to ash and then run water through it, and that's where you get the potash, potassium hydroxide. So that is a lye. It's a type of lye. So this is made with lye, but it's soft. Like I said, I can kind of squish it. So I want to incorporate this into a hard cold process bar of soap. I'm hoping it'll make it last longer, stretch it out, and still get all the goodies out of it. So this is going to be really fun. This, my little precious piece from Africa that my beautiful niece Shakisha, thank you Shakisha, brought back. This I'm going to keep using and cherish it, and I'm not putting this in the soap today. This is mine. I'm keeping it off to the side, but I have to go formulate a cold process soap, and I really wanted to incorporate a high amount of shea butter and coconut oil because I thought that went along with some of the ingredients that are already in this soap. I have seen people do a rebatch style. So you make a batch of soap. I think Anne-Marie at Brambleberry did this, and her bars looked fabulous. Where you shred your soap, melt it down in the crock pot, and then add your chunked up black soap to it to kind of help melt it, because it can have some chunkies in there because of the potash. It's very rustic. Oh, yeah, a rebatch is one way to tackle this, but you can also add it into a cold process. I think the Brambleberry African black quick mix has a 5% black soap. I'm going to go higher than that. I'm thinking maybe even not 50-50, but a lot. So however much liquid cold process, I want to add almost that much of the black crumbles and see if we can get it to I don't know. I don't even really know what I'm doing today, but this is going to be fun. I'm so crazy about this soap. So I've got to go formulate a cold process recipe that I will share with you all down below in the description box, or the highlighted more. It's all in there, all the links and everything. So I've got to go formulate my recipe. I've got to get this chunked up into little crumbles, as small as I can get. I'm going to get out my big knife and dice it up as teeny as I can get it. And let's come back and make some black soap inspired, incorporating all the goodness soap today. All right, we are back to chunk up our black soap blocks here. These are approximately 1 pound, maybe, a 1/4 of an ounce difference, but I need 32 ounces of black soap crumbles today. I'm going to do a 32% black soap to a 68% cold process liquid. And this is just my Ninja mixer here, my Ninja blender. It's very powerful and I love it for smoothies and grinding stuff up. It works great. So I have this down here, and I'll probably have to do this in batches and have my bowl on a scale as I go up to 32 ounces. I think these 2 blocks will get me there. And the other thing that I'm going to be doing is, as I cut this, if it feels like there's moisture in it, I'm going to add my kaolin clay in here as I'm blending this, and that will help to kind of keep it dry and separate. I'm not trying to make a dough ball, you know what I'm saying? I have done that when I make my laundry soap and I'm grating. I have fresh soap grated in here and I'm trying to pulverize it. I'll add some of the dry powders in so that the soap, if there's any moisture, it won't cling together. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So let's open these up and get to it. They have these wrapped really tightly. There we go. All right, that is looking perfect. Look at that. Kind of looks like cacao bits or something, but this size crumbles in my soap, I will be very happy with. So let me go measure this off and get to my next block. All right, here we go. I ended up with 33 ounces of crumbles, and that's okay. I'm just going to use it all. And I did put the kaolin clay, and the last time I did the last block, I added my colloidal oats. So there's kaolin clay and colloidal oats in here. I put about 3 tablespoons of colloidal oats, and then all together I have about 4 tablespoons of kaolin clay in here with the crumbles. But I think these are going to disperse really well in the soap recipe. So let's get to making soap. All right, so the first step for me is I'm going to make my lye solution so it can start cooling as we pull all the oils out for the cold process part. I'm measuring in ounces today. I'm doing my big standard mold, and so when I have big numbers, I like to do ounces. Here in America, it's my default, but the recipe will be down below in grams and percentages also. So I'm trying to keep everybody in mind. I need 20 ounces of water, distilled water, or 567 grams of water. Right, get my gloves on here before I go grab my sodium hydroxide, which is lye. And before I get that measured out, I'm going to add some sugar in here and some silk fibers. Black soap is a vegan recipe, so if you want this to be vegan, leave the silk fibers out. But I love them and I have them, so I'm going to put them in there. So let me grab my sugar and my silk. All right, and for this big batch, this is a 2 tablespoon scoop, and it's just a teeny bit shallow. I'll go ahead and add that in here. So just shy of 2 tablespoons of sugar. And of course, you can omit that if you don't want sugar. Sugar is a lather booster. I don't know if the soap even needs the help. The black soap lathers really well. It's a lovely lather. So I just like to add it in there. I guess it's habit at this point for me. But I'm going to stir this until it's all dissolved. Then I'll pull a little pinch of my Tussa silk fibers and put it in here. And then we'll get our sodium hydroxide. All right, here's my little fluff of silk fibers. I'm going to go ahead and sink that down in my cool water. And I do keep my water in the refrigerator, so it is refrigerator cool. And if I wasn't going to melt silk fibers in here, you could make your lye solution with ice cubes so it cools faster. All of that factors in, but I like my silk. So here is 9 ounces, 9.65 ounces, or 274 grams of sodium hydroxide, which is lye crystals. Just going to throw that in here. Stand back, do not breathe the fumes, and this is going to heat up real fast. And it's going to melt those silk fibers in there. And then I'm going to set this off in an ice bath to cool while we make our little cold process soap. All right, we're back to start measuring our oils. And the first oil I need is coconut oil. I need 20.4 ounces or 578 grams of coconut oil. All right, and the next oil I need in here is palm oil. And I need 10.2 ounces or 289 grams of palm oil. All right, and the next ingredient that I need is 6.8 ounces of shea butter or 193 grams of shea butter. And this is unrefined shea butter I'm using today. All right, that is it for my hard oils and butter. And I'm going to go and pre-melt these down before we add the liquid oils in here. Right, we got a little pre-melt on the hard oils and butter, and the next ingredient is castor oil, and I need 3.4 ounces or 96 grams of castor oil. All right, and the next liquid oil is olive oil, and I need 10.2 ounces or 289 grams of olive oil. Okay, last but not least, I need 17 ounces or 482 grams of sunflower oil. And I like the high oleic sunflower oil because it helps reduce your risk of getting DOS, dreaded orange spots. So 17 ounces sunflower oil going in. All right, we are back with our cooled down lye solution. I have my big, tall, triple skinny mold here from Workshop Heritage, which this amount plus the crumbles should fill it to the brim. In case I overshot, I have a little 1 pound mold off to the side here. And this is just great if you have extra batter. You can even layer it in here. So I've got molds. I have a flour mold off to the side just in case I overshot this. I was guessing a little this soap plus the crumbles, how high it would go in my mold. So anyway, a little guesswork on my part. And I have a few ounces of lavender essential oil that I'm going to be adding in here right now. You could leave this unscented. A little bit of lavender essential oil sounded really good to me. So I'm adding it in at this point. And let me get that blended a little bit so that I don't forget. I don't want to add it after I have the crumbles in here. But again, if you really want a true, just leave it unscented. Anyway, there's that. That was a last minute decision on my part. But I'm telling you, I'm throwing it in there. It smells, I think it just pairs really well with the earthiness of the black soap. So let's go ahead and get our lye in here. And I want to get to emulsion and a very light trace before I add in those crumbles because I want to make sure they get blended in really well. But I also don't want them to sink down to the bottom of the mold where there's like black soap on the bottom and regular soap on top. So it's going to be a balance. Hopefully we can get this up to a nice medium trace without things rushing on us. I'm not blending right now. I'm stirring and then pulsing. So it's not a continuous stick blender. That could go really fast, but it looks beautiful, creamy. So this base recipe here I formulated today. I have never done this before. So that looks like a good emulsion to me. I think that looks fabulous. I'm going to pull my stick blender out and hand stir in the crumbles. Here they are in all their wonderfulness. I hope they fit in here. Oh my goodness. I may have to get a bigger mixing bowl for this, but we shall see. And again, the clay, the oats, that's already in here, so it's going to have all the extras that I love. There we go. It's interesting. All right, yay. Not moving too fast. I'm going to have plenty of time to get these fully mixed so that the clay and the oats that's, blended around them can disperse throughout all the soap. And if I see any chunks like that, I want to break them up. You know what? This is thin enough. I'm going to throw my stick blender back in here. Let's do it. Burp out any air bubbles. Like I said, I don't want all the black soap to sink to the bottom. I definitely want it suspended in here. Wow, this recipe is playing really nice. I'm happy, but as I stop stirring, the black soap is sinking down. So I'm just going to keep blending until I feel like things are thick enough where they will suspend evenly throughout the entire soap. All right, those look like they're suspending in there nice, even though it's pretty loose at this point. I am absolutely delighted with this so far, let me tell you. All right, let me pull out my blender here. And you can see some of the bigger chunks, but I think that just is kind of part of the beauty. I really do. Yay, it's the perfect amount for this mold. Awesome, awesome. Could have actually made a little bit larger soap volume, but I am very happy with this. Are back. It has been 2 days since I put this in the mold, and look at that. It just has a very gentle, earthy lavender scent with the lavender essential oil and a nice gentle top. I didn't want to take away from all the goodness that's in the soap. That's the main attraction. And I did put this on a heating pad. I wanted it to go through gel phase, so I put it on my little heating pad, put the lid on, and I forgot to put a blanket on it for about an hour, and I remembered I'm out of practice with my big mold. I forget things. And also, I did not put sodium lactate in my lye solution. And this was a nice, slow-moving soap recipe. So I wanted to give it an extra day. No sodium lactate, slow-moving soap. I'm in no rush. Let's give it another day, and because I don't want to ding this up. It feels nice and hard today. So let's get this out of the mold and see what these bars look like. Back with the lovely Olga. getting into our first loaf. So here's the outside of the mold, very tiny speckles. And then the inside, I absolutely love this. It looks like leopard spots to me. I'm just pretty much crazy about this. And again, I did the lavender essential oil in cold processed soap. The recommendation is about 3%. And I went lower than that, about 2%. So yeah, at about 2%, it's got a nice lavender essence to it, but you can still smell that sort of earthy, almost, I want to say like patchouli type scent is what I'm smelling, which I love. And there's not going to be a lot to see. Just beautiful goodness. And I really believe I have enough of the black soap in here to glean all of the touted skin benefits and all the goodness. And it might have a little bit of an exfoliating feel. It's quite smooth cutting it. But I think as I get into, there's some bigger chunks in here, it might have a little bit of texture to it, but I love that. Oh my goodness, you guys, these just look earthy and luscious to me. So what I want to do is I'll wait about a week and come back and do a lather test to wrap this video up. I want to see how this lathers with the cold process recipe surrounding the black soap in there. So again, we got 32% black soap, 68% cold process, and I think it's a nice blend. I really love it. I really wanted the black soap to be the star of the show, and I believe that I think we achieved that. So the lather test will tell. I'm loving this. In fact, I have one more brick of black soap left, and after I get done videoing, I'm going to go make another batch and just use it up because I know my family's all going to want some of this, and I want some for myself, so I need to make extra so I have plenty to share. All right, let's get into the middle loaf, leopard spots. I'm so happy. Oh my goodness. I did want to say though, with this cold process recipe that I developed for this project, it was slow moving and these still are a little bit tacky. So before I come in and bevel and stamp, I'm going to let them sit for at least another day, maybe a couple of days. I'll let them set. I don't need to rush this. Don't rush a good thing. But I will come in and do my beveling and stamping. There's a bigger chunk in there. So as you use the soap, that might have a little scrubby feel to it. But I will come in and do beveling and stamping, but I am going to wait. I'm not going to rush this. Because when I stamp, I do it, soon after unmolding. And, I use my mallet and I hammer these, and that can be kind of an aggressive motion on a wet soap. And I have in the past, I've been making soap for quite a while, but I have smushed a bar of soap before because I went in with stamping a little too soon. So don't smush your soap. Take it from me. Patience is a virtue. All right, I'm going to cut into my last loaf here. And again, there's not a lot of patterns going on the inside, but I think it's beautiful. And I'll be back to do the outro and everything when we come in to do the lather test. And I'm excited to do that lather test too. All right, guys, we are back for the lather test. But before I dip in the water here, I wanted to show you, this was the soap we made on camera with 32% black soap. That's what it looks like. And my bars were a little short because my cold process was shy of what I needed. All that being said, I love it. It looks fabulous, kind of like leopard spots. Love that. This one I made off camera with 16% black soap. So here's the difference. I still think there's a lot of black soap in here. So if you wanted to stretch it, yeah, I think 16% would be good too. But I'm crazy about these. This is the one I made. This is the one we're going to lather test. So let's get it in here And see, I got a feeling it's going to lather really nice. It feels great. Just a little bumpies on there, but not super exfoliating feeling. And it's lathering right away. Oh my goodness. I am going to use this on my face for sure. Let me set this off to the side and lather what I've got in my hands. Oh, that's a beautiful lather. It's kind of dense on the first turnaround, like tight, dense bubbles. Let's see if we can get some bigger bubbles going. Add more water. Yeah, that's beautiful feeling. Oh my goodness. All right, happy, happy, happy. So I feel like with 16%, but especially 32% load of black soap in here, you are going to get the benefits that people say black soap has, and I'm believing it. I am loving my little soap that I'm using every morning and night on my face. It's delightful. I hope you give this a try. And if you have experimented with black soap, if you use it regularly, let us know down below. I would love to hear how much you love this soap because, man, I am crazy about this. I really, truly am. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the recipe down below, and I hope you have a wonderful day.